All right, we're there. All right, how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ivan Collins. I'm here with another episode of AV Experts Podcast. Today we have a very special show. We got a great guest on our show here to discuss some of their products and some of the latest and greatest that they've come to market with. And I'm very excited about the show, guys. Today we have Mr. Paul Roberts of Aveo Systems, and he's gonna be here to discuss some of their products. But before we get that going, let's take care of some of the formalities. This show is brought to you by Innoface Systems. Innoface Systems provides state-of-the-art audiovisual solutions for government, commercial, and residential clientele, whether it be projection systems, LED video wall, or touch panel solutions. Innoface Systems can help. Give us a call at 877-721-4040. Again, that's 877-721-4040. So without further ado, let's get to it. We have Mr. Paul Roberts on the show. Mr. Roberts, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, Ivan. Thank you so much for having me on. My name is Paul Roberts. I'm the sales director for Aveo Systems, which is a company you might not have heard of, but is providing some exciting new products for the AV space in the area of control. And I'm really excited to kind of take what it's all about and what sets us apart, what makes us different, and answer your questions.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love talking control, Paul. So this is going to be a great show. I can already tell. So yeah, so just like, just in a nutshell, tell the people, what is Aveo Systems and, how'd you guys come about? Like what exactly is Aveo?
Yeah. So Aveo Systems is a company that was founded by Craig Richardson, and Craig Richardson goes back. He's been involved in the AV in the Atlanta area for a long time. He was a CEO of Aspie Digital, one of the early automatic echo canceling technology development companies back in the 90s. It was and the company that became Clear One, and they ended up going out to Polycom, and Craig built the team that developed the Polycom sound structure DSP, audio DSP platform there. And so he was a Polycom guy for over a decade, for quite a while. And then he ended up leaving Polycom, and we worked together. I was the VP of sales and marketing at Symmetrix, the audio DSP company, and he and I were there. That's where we met. And then I ended up leaving Symmetrix, and then eventually he ended up leaving Symmetrix. And what he realized when he working throughout all these different positions was that there was often a big challenge when it came to controlling AV equipment. You had systems that were either really simple and yet really didn't provide a lot of control flexibility. They were not very powerful. They were real simplified, and oftentimes a lot of different control elements that you kind of had to piece together, or the open architecture control system, the Crestrons and AMXs of the world, which you could do everything and anything with them, but you had to do everything. And oftentimes it was very labor intensive. You had to have certified people doing the projects for you. And it just became a difficult situation to handle for a lot of people, particularly for projects, AV installations that were fairly simple, meeting spaces in particular, where a product that was easier to set up and easier to use for the customers, but still provided a lot of the dynamic control elements and remote control elements was what he was looking for. And so he founded the company Aveo Systems with a couple of his engineering friends from his Polycom days. And they began working on this product that's called Mira Connect, Mira, M-I-R-A, Mira Connect. And so for a few years, and then about 4 years ago, they launched it to the marketplace with the first product. And it's just grown and developed from that point on. So.
Very cool. No, that's nice. That's awesome. So Mira Connect. Is Mira Connect just one piece of hardware? What exactly does Mira Connect encompass? Is it like a processor like we're used to in addition to a touch panel, or what exactly does it encompass?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Mira Connect is really the control system is made up of two parts. One is the hardware element, which is actually a touch panel controller, the user interface. And then it's also the engine that's built into it. So the control engine that's sending the control commands out to the AV equipment in the room that you want to control are all combined together into a single piece of hardware. And often say Mira Connect, we're talking about the touch panel itself. But really, the other part of the Mira Connect control system is Mira Portal, and that is our cloud-based application that we developed that connects with Mira Connect hardware, and it's what you use to create the control in the room, but also to monitor the control that you've either set up yourself or been given permission to view. Mira Portal is a cloud-based application, as I mentioned, so it's connecting to Mira Connect through a WAN connection, an internet connection. Once you set up the control for the Mira Connect, it's pushing the control and it lives locally on the hardware. Doesn't have to have an ongoing internet connection in order to continue to control everything in the room. But if you're able to maintain a internet connection, it provides you with some really powerful remote control capability, some remote support capability, and some other features such as text message notification if the equipment in the room were to go offline, to allow you, whoever is supporting the room, to be able to go in and fix the room, reconnect the network settings or whatever in order to bring it back online proactively instead of waiting for the next use to happen and it becoming an emergency to get it set up. So yeah, those two pieces work together and provide the overall control system that is extremely easy to use and set up. I want to make an important point here is that Mira Connect, it's a fixed architecture control system, but it is very dynamic in its capabilities and its application. So by fixed architecture, it means we have a library of the control drivers, supported equipment that you choose from as you're building your room control. And you drop those pieces, you select those pieces from our list, you set the IP addresses, and then you have control that you set up for the devices. All of this just takes a matter of minutes. And then when you finish off the room, it then builds the user interface automatically based upon the control elements that you've set up.
Wow.
So this makes it so that you can, you can set up control for a conference room very quickly, very easily. The fact that you can simulate equipment in the room means that you can build control and actually have the user interface built before you even have equipment to connect to, so you can show your customers or you can get comfortable with what the control is going to look like and how it's going to work.
Yeah.
But it also allows you to make changes remotely in a very quick amount of time without having to go on site and reprogram things. So it's giving our integration partners a lot of flexibility in how they set up these rooms and how they provide control experience for their customers. And it's giving the end users a very consistent user experience, one that's easily adaptable over time, and that is very consistent from room to room or from office location to office location if they've got it spread around the country. So
that's cool stuff, Paul. That's very cool. Let me ask you, is this primarily a commercial / government application, or is this also used in like a residential environment?
Yeah, the early projects we did, because the engineers really came out of the Polycom space, it was really designed for conference rooms.
Yeah.
And as functionality has been added to it, its application has really grown beyond the conference rooms and the meeting spaces, meeting rooms, multi-purpose meeting rooms. Those then become very similar to classrooms these days, which become really kind of hybrid in-person and distance learning or distance communication. So there's a collaboration element, which is kind of like a meeting room. So we've got support for Polycom and Cisco video codecs and Zoom rooms. And so providing for those collaborative environments. But then we also have the ability to easily control multiple displays and projectors, that sort of thing. Provide control for multiple microphones or speaker outputs, sort of thing. So the applicability towards hospitality, sports bars, houses of worship, as if additional functionality is added to the product, it's really kind of expanded the type of venue that it's being used in. We haven't done any home, any residential. It's kind of maybe drifting that way. I don't think we're intentionally going after the home space, but the functionality and the ease of use that our commercial customers are liking, residential home theater users also are interested in that sort of thing. So who knows if that's an area we go into, but probably it's been commercial.
Right. So historically, with other, control systems that are out on the market, you've got, IR control, RS-232, relays, serial IO, and now even Ethernet. Are those same options available, or do you guys control devices using a different type of protocol?
Yeah, so Mira Connect is it's a standard IP device.
IP.
So it's listed on the local area network. It's a PoE device, so it's fully powered through standard PoE.
Okay.
So that you don't have to worry about power, plugging it in, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It does have the ability to be plugged in with a power adapter and connected to a network via Wi-Fi. So if you have a case or an application where you want to use the wireless for your network connection, it is powerable through an adapter, a power supply. But 95+% of our applications are just using PoE and Ethernet. And so then our device then sending its commands out through just the standard Ethernet switch to the products in the room, which is great for IP controllable equipment, which is all the DSPs and a lot of the video switchers and a fair number of the displays, that sort of thing. Lutron lighting systems are IP controllable, so that's easily set up. But you're right, there's a whole bunch of equipment out there, either legacy or even products that are still being produced that use serial RS-232 control. A lot of the displays and whatnot, and cable boxes and stuff rely on IR control. And then of course, screens, projector screens and that sort of thing, shades that require a relay or contact closure in order to be able to drop those. We use adapters, and actually we use the Global Cache, which is a fairly common brand. We're set up to use pretty much just right off the shelf to adapt an IP control and bring those onto the IP network for us to control. So there's a little application note how to set those up, but it makes it so that you can control any products that are on the equipment list, whether they be IR or RS-232 or contact closure.
Very cool. Very cool. What sizes does the touch panel come in? What sizes do they actually come in?
Yeah, so Mira Connect, the hardware currently is a 10-inch touch panel controller. So it's actually the designated Mira Connect 10, and that stands for a 10-inch touch panel controller. So that's the hardware that we have available. That includes the engine for control. It comes with a tabletop mount, or you can buy it without the tabletop mount and mount it on the wall, that sort of thing. But for people that want different sizes, different styles, maybe they want bring their own device type control, there's a functionality called remote control that is built into Mira Connect. And it's a real feature that programs automatically. As soon as you make a connection between the Mira Connect piece of hardware and a room that you've created in Mira Portal, a little remote control button lights up. And by clicking that, it's going to open up a new browser tab in your browser, because Mira Portal is browser based. So you don't have to download software in order to control your Mira Connect or to set it up through any device that has a browser. So this remote control creates a new browser tab that has a unique URL that can be saved, and then it can be reused on any device that has a browser and has an internet connection and can be used repeatedly. So you can set it up on an iPad mini, an Android tablet, a laptop, any device that
Yeah.
has a browser. And so that gives you, you have your Mira Connect 10 control panel, but then you also have the flexibility of setting up an unlimited number of additional control points that are securely connected to the control system through the network, but gives you that flexibility. So in fact, you could even have a device that has maybe multiple rooms on it. If you had, maybe we're supporting a whole floor full of conference rooms and you were a tech support person, you want to be able to go into the Atlantic room or the Pacific room or the Caribbean room, and you had them laid out, you could just hit a button, it would pull open the user interface and you would have a remote control. You'd see and be able to control that room's user interface just as if you were in the room directly.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty cool. That's very cool, actually.
Yeah.
So have you guys, I noticed like in the industry right now, obviously due to COVID and what the world has been going through over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of like supply chain issues. Are you guys having those issues at this time?
Yeah, actually, we're not. So one of the great things about Mira Connect is that because there's really a single SKU, we have one item. It's Mira Connect 10, and actually, there's the legacy Mira Connect original hardware that we came out with. That's a little more sturdy. It's in a metal enclosure. Universities like it because it's not going to easily be broken or walk away, that sort of thing. So we really have two hardware SKUs that is Mira Connect. And then there's the versions with or without the tabletop stand. There's the accessories if you want in-wall mounting. There's the mounting brackets and the adapters that you can buy to bring non-IP controllable equipment to the IP network. But because we have a very limited number of hardware SKUs, and that the hardware is adapted by the software to turn into what you need it to be, it allows us to really focus on a very few number of items to keep in stock. And we've done a very good job of working proactively to make sure, since it's our whole industry or it's our whole business, is we have pretty good stock, really good stock on those items. So we haven't had any issue with that.
Good, good, good. So just in a nutshell, can you just explain to our viewers what kind of sets you all apart or makes you different, if anything, than, as some of the other control manufacturers who are out here right
Yeah. So from the ground up, Mira Connect control system has been designed to be simple for the user, whether you're the person setting up the system or you're the person using it in the. It's been designed from the ground up to be easy to use. So regardless of what DSP system you're connected to, what type of video codec you're connected to, or if you're not connected to either of those type of things, what type of displays or projectors, the setup of the room and the if you needed to make changes to the control of different types of equipment is extremely easy from one type of equipment to another. And all the types of equipment we control are very different. There sometimes some are really challenging to create the control drivers for and the user interface for, and sometimes it's the other ones are much easier. But for the users, it's going to be easy for every single one because all the complicated stuff is engineered, is under the hood, and so it makes it really simple from product to product we're controlling. And then the other element is the fact that resources are stretched thin in this industry, and you might have one person who's your programmer who does all your control programming. You might have somebody who's helping them out from time to time. You might have somebody that has to be contracted, a third party, to come in and help program or do some commissioning.
Right.
And so the control system or the programming or the system, the equipment itself, a lot of times passes from person to person. And a lot of times people have their own way of doing things and they kind of want to do it this way, or I know how to do this, but I don't know how to do that. Oh, you got to wait for him to be available or her because she knows how to complete this sort of thing. With Mira Connect, It's they can be set up by a much broader selection of people, of technicians, and from office to office or location to location, you know that the end user is going to get a uniform control system from room to room and from location to location, regardless of who set that up. We have a customer of ours who's an engineering firm that has offices all over North America, and they standardize on Connect. And the local integrator in Atlanta did a bunch of the installations in the Southeast, but they had offices in Canada, they had offices out on the West Coast, and it just didn't make sense for them to fly somebody out there to do that. So they were able to do most of the work locally and then hand it off to subcontractors who literally went in, pulled the wires, set up the network, plugged things in, and the room that was in Denver, Colorado is going to look and function exactly like the room that's in Atlanta, Georgia. And yet they were two completely different people. And if all those people were to go away and somebody else had to come in and try to pick up the ball and support it, they would easily be able to go and support it. So it's kind of trying to take away some of those variables that can really kind of delay projects or make them kind of overrun in cost, and kind of just out and eliminate those.
That's interesting. So let me ask you, Paul, is there like a historically we're used to source code kind of being stored somewhere, or the end user having it, or the integrator having it. Does Mira Connect keep its information on Mira Connect's platform to where it's just there whenever you kind of log in to make changes, or is it in the cloud? Where exactly is the file being stored?
Yeah, so when you create control for a room in Mira Portal, when you create a new organization, a new site, and a new room, you're the administrator of it. You're the person, you log your Portal account, and you're the only person that has access to that. You're in charge, and you're the only one that is in charge. So you can create the control for the room, and then that gets pushed into the control panel. So it's made, there's a connection, internet connection, and the programming now lives on the Mira Connect device, the hardware, and it's also mirrored. But you, as the person that created that, and you are the only person who has access to that, you're really the only person that can go in, see it, make changes to it, and that sort of thing. Now, you can then add in other users that have Mira Portal accounts at one of 4 levels of access. So if you want somebody to come in and be able to be an administrator as well and add in other new users, you can give somebody Mira Connect access for that particular site. And then when they log into their Mira Portal account, it'll appear, just automatically will appear on their dashboard, and then they will be able to go in and manage it just like you would. So it'll appear on both of your dashboards. If you give somebody technical control of the room, but not administrative, you could set them up at that level. So perhaps somebody who was on site or somebody who was local, who could go in and make changes to IP addresses. They could change the background images and update the visual theme of the panel, and do change equipment out and that sort of things. Maybe change some of the settings, activate some of this or that, change some of the directory, upload new directories and stuff like that. But they couldn't add in new users. So they would have the ability to control the system, but they wouldn't have the ability to add in users or remove users. That's reserved for the administrators. And then there's a level below that, that's just the tech support level. They have the ability to remote into rooms to see the status of the equipment, but they can't go in and change the IP addresses. They can't remove equipment, add new equipment, that sort of thing. So tech support or support people for the conference rooms, they'd be able to remote into them and provide that sort of support, but wouldn't be able to go in and change them. So the answer is the programming lives on the device itself. So if it loses an internet connection, it's going to continue to have the control programming locally. It's going to continue to control all the equipment in the room. It doesn't ever really have to go out to the internet for any reason, unless you want to make a connection in order to make some changes or to view the status of the room. But really the person that set it up controls at what level other people get access to that programming.
So just to make sure I fully understand this, let's say, a client is dealing with an integrator and for whatever reason the relationship goes sour, um, would the client need to get the file from that integrator at a certain point in order to be able to make changes to it? Or could a new integrator that they hire go in and log into the system and make whatever changes they needed to make at that point?
Well, in that situation, and we all know that happens. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. And
Yeah.
you know, even integrators that have all the best intentions, stuff happens, things change, and
Yeah.
customers move on for whatever reason. In that situation, the Mira Connect programming, the way it was set up, the access to the room would live with the original integrator. And unless
Okay.
they wanted to hand off access to the programming to the new integrator or to the end user, that would be there up to them. So they maintain
Okay.
that control.
Okay.
If the user contacted another integrator who was an Aveo Systems dealer, then they would actually be able to reboot the Mira Connect unit and basically pair it with a new room that they would have to set up from scratch.
Yes.
But mention it's, you know, it's designed to be fairly easy to set up, and it would look pretty much the same as the previous setup, but the ownership of that actual setup would live with the person that created the new file.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you, how has like the coronavirus, the pandemic, you know, the whole workforce shifting to working from home, how has that impacted Aveo Systems? I mean, how has that been for you, Paul?
Yeah, you know, we're still a relatively new company and
Mhm.
been shipping this product for 4 years. You know, we've been 2 years in the pandemic, so we're a little less than 2 years on the market with a product that is conference room control for the most part.
Yeah,
And so that was very disruptive for us.
I
One
bet.
that came up in the middle of it that first year, back when we all thought that touching common surfaces was something that we had to avoid at all costs, and it was a big nobody wanted to touch anything. Is that one of our customers came to us and said, "Hey, we're using Mira Connect, but we don't, you know, people are afraid to touch all this stuff. What can we do?"
Yeah.
Because we're a smaller company, very engineering driven, we were able to come up with a technology called Mira Connect Me. And I talked about
Mm.
that remote. You can kind of hit the button in Mira Portal and it creates a new tab that basically just mirrors the control in the room and you have full control over the room. So we adapted that technology so that with just a simple clicking of a box in the system settings, it puts a QR code on the screen of the touch panel in the room and allows users to come in and with their phone or their tablet or any device, scan it and get temporary control of the room on their device. So it's
Ah,
just like the Mira Connect remote, except it doesn't require any advanced setup of the user in order to use it. All they have to do is walk in, scan that code, and then they've got an instance of Mira Connect on their device temporarily and very secure because the QR codes are constantly refreshed and you can only have it for a temporary period of time. So users can't go off into the night and be messing with the room hours down the road.
yeah.
But that was a way for you to control a room without touching anything. Now that the whole afraid to touch things has kind of gone by the wayside, the functionality of Mira Connect Me is still really valuable because people want to be able to control the system, but they don't want to be sitting at the front of the table. They don't want to be standing next to it on the wall. They want to sit over in the corner and make the calls and move the PTZ cameras around or trigger the lighting settings, that sort of thing, without having to be tethered to this, touch panel. And so to be able to just easily, quickly scan this QR code and then sit over wherever they want and control the meeting from that device, is a powerful feature that people love.
That
So
is powerful.
what came a need for something that was kind of a short window of time where people were afraid of this particular aspect of meeting rooms has turned into this new feature that's really quite powerful beyond that.
I love that. I love that. That's
And then
very cool.
the other thing
Yeah.
is that the pandemic has turned college classrooms into collaboration meeting rooms, hybrid meeting spaces. And so when a class becomes really just a large meeting room with in-person AV support, collaborative, been controlled as well as the screens and the content sharing and all that. So that's been very positive for us as far as creating more rooms that need a Mira Connect type of control. And so that's opened some doors in the higher ed space, and to a lesser extent, K through 12, they have a little bit different budget point and sort of need for what they want. They need ultra simplified stuff. But yeah, we've got some users in that space as well. So
that's awesome. Hold on one second here, Paul. Looks like my camera's acting up on me here. I'll switch it over. No worries. So, okay. All right. Yeah, that's good stuff. So what's the future? What's coming down the pipeline? What can we expect to see from Aveo Systems in the future?
yeah, so hopefully your listeners or viewers have an idea of what Mira Connect is. So this touch panel, an engine in the room, sending out control of the equipment in the room, and these all ways of connecting to it to get user control on various devices. If any of your viewers were to show up at Infocom, which is what we're at the middle of February. It's only 4 months away.
Yeah.
Something very cool. What if Mira Connect didn't have the hardware element and was merely a program, an executable program that could be loaded onto any computer, turning that computer into a control system that could then be accessed through all these user interface methods, and bring the price point for adding a professional control system, AV control system, into any room to a very dynamic price point and flexibility level. And I think, and that's what people are going to see from Mira Connect. So
I like
it's going to be exciting.
I like that. I like that a whole lot. So, because everyone's on their own smartphone anyway. So, you could download the app or do the QR code or use a computer that's already in the room and have full functionality. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, or download an app that would be created through your Android or through Apple iStore, App Store.
Yeah.
As the user interface that then connects with this program that's running on any computer, and turning any device that maybe has a Teams running on it, or Zoom, or maybe it has something else running on it, and now you've turned it into the same computer that's being used for something else into also the control system that's controlling your AV system, multiple screens and projectors and the lighting system and DSPs and video codecs and cameras and all that sort of thing. So
that's great.
Yeah, going to provide a lot of opportunities for application of Mira Connect into rooms where they need it even more simple, or even at a lower price point, or at more easily expanded to multiple rooms that are easily duplicatable and that sort of thing. And of course, that completely eliminates it being out of stock, because it would be a complete hardware solution, a software solution. So yeah, we're excited about the future.
That's a great idea. I love that. Well, awesome, man. This has been great. Tell the people how they can get in contact with you. How do they get access to the product? I mean, just kind of fill everyone in on how they can get in touch with Aveo.
Yeah. So our website is actually a really great place for information to learn about the product, to get in touch with us, to get in touch with one of our local reps across the country. And it's aveosystems.com, AVEO systems.com.
Yeah.
And on there, you can find a link to Mira Portal. And Mira Portal is where you can create rooms. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the ability to create a room and add equipment can all be simulated, so you can do it without hardware. So you can build control just right now and see how it all works. The Mira portal can be found at Mira, M-I-R-A, .aviosystems.com. So we recommend go there and create a Mira portal account and just start playing around with it. And then, of course, I'm always available to answer questions. One of the things we pride ourselves as a company is that we do answer the phone. We do reply to our emails. We're very connected with our customer and user base. We love to hear from customers. We love to add new drivers to new equipment that our customers need in order for their projects. So we're constantly adding new equipment and adapting functionality in order to meet our customers' needs. So awesome. I can be reached via email. You can find me through the website or just paul.roberts@aviosystems.com. And we would love to hear from people and answer whatever questions they have. Set up a personalized demo, any of that.
Very cool. Are you guys doing any social media? Are you on Instagram?
We're on Twitter, Aveo Systems.
Good.
We're on Facebook, and we are on LinkedIn. I don't think we made it to Instagram. Maybe we did. Certain platforms, and tend to ignore other platforms, and so
I'm telling you, there's like a new platform every week.
Yeah. If I talk to my kids, they could tell me 3 platforms that I've never even heard of. That I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, no, this has been great, Paul, and I really appreciate your time, and we definitely got to get you back on the show. Are you going to Infocom? Did I hear you say you're going to be there?
Oh yeah, it's going to be an exciting show for us because we got, as I mentioned, something really cool to show people. Yeah. And of course, there's always new developments coming out. So we've always got something to share. But Infocom this year, we're really excited. We're going to have something really cool to show the marketplace.
That's awesome. Well, I'm definitely going to make sure that we begin speccing more of your hardware and some of your systems for the systems that we're installing over at Innoface Systems. And I just want to make sure we put this in front of our customers, and also just to support Aveo. I think you guys are a great company, and I wish you guys the best moving forward. Definitely.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Ivan. I think what you're doing is fantastic. Look forward to meeting you in person in June in Las Vegas, and we'll stay in touch. And as with all your viewers, users, I'd love to hear from you. Hopefully, we can be in touch as well.
Awesome, Paul. Well, thank you very much. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of AV Experts Podcast. You all have a blessed day.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ivan.
All right.
Bye.